Welcome back. Presently, we are at the house of Josephine and Brutus, and we are going to modify this one for them. We will find out when I am done if they can find their beds. And again, as I said before, it all starts with removing all of this support beam trim work. I don't have to remove this side in order for this side of the room to function, but we are removing it just for so the whole place matches. Like I said before, we can come in here and replace. I'm talking. We can come in and replace any of this that we want. We're getting really close to bedtime, so we want to make sure these folks can find their beds. Okay. Let's see, I'm stuck. I'm stuck on these support beams. So it stands to reason they too could get stuck. Even though we can walk through them at other times. I'm not understanding what it is about them that keeps us from walking through some of them. Okay, there we go. They should be able to get up here. Okay, and we are installing torches and taking out. See, there's Brutus and Josephine, and these are the two that have been pacing around outside, and he has been pacing around inside. So, we will see. Yep. We will see them, hopefully, make their way to their bed. We have put torches on the outside of most of the buildings so far. I have gone around to all of the fire pits, and I put in what we're calling the creative fire pits, which is basically a fire pit that I made. I took a copy of it in creative, and we just place it where we need it. It burns forever. It gives us enough light, but as of yet, we have not proven that it generates any heat. But it just looks nice to see those in the places where they should be. So that, and there are smoke generators somewhere in here. They're in this block. And it just makes sense for there to be a fire at the base of wherever there's smoke coming out. So that makes sense to me. Wow, we have got these things everywhere and these things everywhere. Like I said, are you stuck? Yeah, so these guys, they'll, like this one here, he's going to gather up here all by himself. And if he works close by, he'll work right here and he'll sleep right downstairs. He won't go anywhere else. He won't travel the village. So one of our ideas is to move these workstations to the lower grounds, also to keep him from doing that, and remove these from the random places. And yeah, that's his workstation there. And force the people to gather in fewer locations. Oh, shucks. Forgot to finish that off. Yeah, we put We put wood here in a fence because this one here, trying to, I guess, I don't know why she's getting into the house this early in the day, but she kept trying to get into the house this way, and she would fall into the water and then kind of doggy paddle around, ended up way over here, so I had to put in stairs so she could get out of the water. They're not very bright, so I'm making changes that kind of fool us into believing that quite possibly they are bright. Okay, this here I am going to put behind the stairs so that they don't go behind the stairs and try to get up that way, because they cannot. We are also going to put in a floor here. I'm not sure what we can use this room here for. Okay, if it's a married couple, maybe that's where the baby will go. But we don't have babies in this game. We don't have children in this game. It'd be kind of cool if we could do that. Our animals can make babies, so why can't our people? Hi, wouldn't you like to make a baby? Yeah? Oh boy, you know what? That brings up a whole new, oh gosh, box of problems as far as keeping the babies and the children safe. Okay, I'm not happy about how close that is, so let's shift that back. There we go. Okay, now we've got, I think it's the same group, still spinning, and we have a new one, the mud. Wonderful. Let's see, what have we done so far? We have changed these houses. We've put in the ladders and taken out all of the decorative support beams. And okay, so far no one's claimed these beds. I think we have extra beds here. But we have seen one of the houses where someone did find the bed, so we're happy about that. We swapped out the fire. Yeah, I'm going to come around and snag all of these braziers. And in the places where we need heat and light, we are going to use the braziers from a mod. And that is going to be over here, DR braziers. We'll be using these. They throw off light and heat. And they do burn indefinitely, so we don't have to feed them. Let's see. I do believe we did get to this one. Yes, we swapped out the fire there. Yep, and that's done. Let's see, what else did we do? We cleaned up the paths. We need to find our farmers. We cleaned up the paths to the farms. We added additional paths so these folks don't noisy cars, so these folks don't have to guess, you know, or walk through, you know, the mucky ground. We already discussed these buildings. There's no reason for anybody to go up, but again, I am still debating whether or not I want to pull all those workstations out. Otherwise, sometimes, not always, but sometimes the folks will just go inside and stay inside, which is fine in the winter. But these are soldiers. We need them out here, not in there, not stuck up there. Okay, I think that brings us back around to what we have done so far. This here you did see. We did change the ladder, the stairs to a ladder, so they can get through here. There was, right here in the middle, there was these stones. I took them out just to keep the people from getting hung up on them. So, and there we go. Now they can walk straight through. There should not be a problem. Let's see if we can put Okay, we've got these. Let's put these in. A little more light up here. Okay. Yeah, that guy's still there. Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and swap these braziers out up here as well for the DR braziers. Because I don't want them gathering up there. When their shift is over, I want them to come over here into the, we're calling it a castle. I'm not sure if that's actually the right term. I think it could just be a fort. Okay, soon we're going to come out here and see these guys not here. Wouldn't that be nice? Alright, one thing I am going to do as well, we're going to change the design of these so that the people aren't stepping up on them thinking that they can get in because these are stairs. We're going to change that design so that they are not trying to do that. There was water here. We filled it in. We have enough water around us. Okay. Looks like somebody revived our falling gentleman who was here. I'm not sure who that was. Okay. I think our next task is going to be here. Okay, remember this used to be all green? It's no longer green. Now it's dirt. Like I told you before, all we have to do is swap out a random block, and that can change a very large chunk. Let's see, right over here. When we get to this village, you'll see. You'll see some changes when we hit those white chunks. Let's go see what possibly these white chunks are trying to tell us. They're going to be on the back side of this structure. Did I say it, or was I just thinking it? We've been calling it a castle. Should we be calling it a fort? Not sure. I wonder if those two terms are interchangeable. Okay. This right here is telling us that there is an issue. Let's see if we can fix that issue by filling in the ground here. Okay, some of these are gone. All right, let's go look at the other side. Oh wait, we missed one. There we go. I think that quite possibly those white specks, like I said, they're trying to tell us that there's a conflict or there's a problem. I think possibly when the building lands upon spawn, that there's something missing, or something just didn't get introduced properly. And I think that's why it does that. Okay, now we're looking at up here on the hill a couple of spots. Right here. You're telling me that this spot is a problem. Okay, let's replace them. I don't know why they would be a problem. Okay, we're no longer getting confirmation that we fixed the problem. Are you telling me that there should be blocks here? I'm wondering if it's trying to tell me that there should be blocks here. Yeah, I don't know. Who's playing with the door? Where is that coming from? Shouldn't be here. There's no one here. Well, there wasn't anyone here. I just heard the door shut again. Hi there, Marcus. 3:22 in the afternoon. What's the problem? You should be able to get out. You got in. And I know that because there was no one here when I did these changes. I don't see anything that should slow him down from being able to get out of here. Okay, unless he is here gathering. And sometimes when, obviously his reach is very far. Sometimes when they gather, they wander. Okay, what was I saying? Back over here. I think we're done addressing the issues. No one should be back here anyway, so those shouldn't cause us a problem. All right. I do believe... Let's go up here and see what it's trying to tell us about this. These are not necessarily white, so there probably isn't a problem. It could just be they're picking up a light color of the design, because I don't really see a problem. No, everything there looks like it should. Okay, we are making headway though. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, the next big change is gonna be in this building here. In the fort or the castle, the barracks. I am not exactly sure what this should be called. I do believe we called this a fort in our last village where we had this particular structure. Okay, are you folks coming to, are you coming to gather, or? Yeah, there certainly is a lot of people wandering. Alright, we're going to keep an eye on this one and make sure these two folks find their beds when it's time. And I'm going to go into this structure here and find things that need to be addressed. Okay. Is that you? You're a traitor. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that was a different dialogue box. There we go. Yeah, I don't know what the deal was. Was I talking too fast? Could you not keep up? I do tend to do that. Okay, well, it was nice to meet you. Why are you in here? Where is your trader's workstation? Oh, look at that. We have ourselves a snake. Okay, where's the door and why is it... I'm going to start removing doors if they don't stop shutting them and opening and closing them. Okay, I'm going to work in here. At bedtime, we will go do bed checks and see if people have found their beds. Okay. I'm still going to work out why we're getting dirt here and not this wood. I'm wondering if, like I said, when the whole thing spawns, it's obviously reading something wrong. But we'll see what we can do. Anyway, okay. We will be right back. This guy's back again. It's been roughly a day and a half since we were here last, and we were working on this house, making it suitable for, gosh, who was it? Whoever it was, it's not them anymore. This is now Joanna and Bernadetta. We had a crash, and I don't know why, but things seem to have changed since the crash. But it's okay. We've got a few people gathering here. It's almost 10 o'clock, so these people will be heading off to beds shortly. Now, I did go through and made sure all of the houses had all of that decorative support beam trim removed. We went through here in the big building and put ladders in a couple of places where I know that these folks need to get up to additional beds. So let's see what if oh yeah, over here was a was it the resonator, I believe, and a chair, and there was a staircase right here. We removed that and made it so that they could access these ladders to get up to these beds. That one there, and this one was over here. We moved it. Okay. Here we go. I want to see people coming up these stairs. Now, what I don't understand is why they will use these stairs, but they have such a hard time using others, the ones that were here. Whether they're chiseled or not, they should still be able to use them, but they were not even using the ones that weren't chiseled out. So they prefer the ladders. So now we are checking to see how many folks find beds. Okay. Those folks are in beds. We saw folks going in there. Let's see if there's anybody out here. Nope. Let's check in here. It's very quiet out here. So we're guessing that a lot of folks found beds. There we go, which was the goal of all of our work. Let's run down here and check a few more buildings. Okay, we still have some folks here. Kuno, Mathilde, and Brutus. I think Kuno was up there on that third floor. Oh my goodness. Guys, okay, well, we'll figure out what the problem is. Let's check these houses first. Let's make sure that none of those folks belong here and that we didn't miss something. Okay, these ones are fine. I'm going to assume the one next door is as well. We did the exact same thing in, I think there's 4 of these little houses like this in this particular village. Ah, okay, nobody is here. Nobody has claimed those. Which is interesting that there's folks hanging out behind the big castle. Looking for beds when they could just easily shift their claim to those. Where are you guys going? Nowhere. Okay, we've got Rudolph, Demud, Farhead, Dominicus, Mathilde. Okay, let's go see if some... Kuno, Mathilde, and Brutus. That seems like half of our population is not finding a bed. Why? You walk through this door, you hop up these stairs, and you find a bed. There's Farhead. Who's this? Rudolph. See, these are their beds. Why are they not finding them when other folks found them with no problem in the same room? Are there some of these people who just simply refuse to climb the ladders? This room needs a better light source because this room tends to spawn monsters This room earlier didn't have these torches in here. They had a couple of the little oil lamps, and there was a couple of monsters in here, and somebody killed our mayor who was hanging out in here. I moved the mayor's workstation from upstairs down here because I need to access it often, and I don't want to keep climbing the stairs to do that. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure why you folks aren't finding your beds. Yeah, not sure. You should be able to go that way like everyone else did. That's another reason why I like the idea of everybody gathering right here at the end of the day. The ones who need to find beds in here can find them because they're right here. They're hanging out in this area. They're not getting confused by working way off in the distance and only wanting to walk this far because now we're tired and lazy. Yeah. Not sure. Okay, remember we were looking at the white dots on the map and investigating the issue might be back here? Take a look at our map. It filled out. And I'll tell you what I did, and that happened. Let's see, where is it? Right here. There was a white spot right here. I took this out. I replaced it. And the whole thing filled in. Now, I was telling you about just picking a random spot. That was an interesting random spot. Okay, I don't know why our light shifted just a second ago when we did that. Not a clue. What is beyond this wall? Let's go find out. Oh. Okay. I can see how you'd want to get in that way, but that's not an inn. We could put a door here. We did that once before in another build. I think it was similar to this one. We actually put a door in right there, I believe it was. And that seemed to have solved the problem for the folks who couldn't figure out how to get to the front door. So we will see if that is helpful at all. Let's grab our path and see if we can encourage them to come this way. Let's see, where shall we lead them? I guess right off of here, which means we'll have to change this just a bit. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and fill this in so that it is a somewhat solid path where the pieces are touching. Okay, let's go ahead and put a light back here because this is a perfect place for monsters to come in and pick off our villagers. All right, there we go. Okay, guys, figure out where that path is and that door. Let's go ahead and put a waypoint back here and one over here. Oh, golly. Right here. Okay. Stairs. Nope, stairs. Okay, where are we going now? Well, they've picked up on there's a waypoint. They're pinging. And now they want to get in that way. Y'all, there's a door over there. Alright, these guys are also going to ping. And go right back to insisting that they should be able to get in right here. You cannot get in right here. I don't want to put a door there. That guy's sleeping. Okay, what if we do this? Does that help at all? Okay, let's do the helpful steps. Let's give him a door. Just a tiny bit of an obstacle. Okay. There's no excuse now. Come on. You can do it. There's a door right there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, almost doesn't really make sense that they can't figure this out. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's go ahead and check our waypoints. Highlight village waypoints. Okay. There's no excuse. They should be following these red paths. This one here should be sufficient to get them to that door. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I also don't know where these people, let's see. There was a waypoint in here. Let's go ahead and put it back in here and see if that helps to draw them into that area. Okay. Come on, guys. You can do this. That's what all these little red lines are about, to help you. Oh, look at that. Somebody found it. That's one. Good. Okay. Okay, I only see 3 out here now. So a few more have found their way in. Excellent. Good. Good, good, good. All right, let's take this off. All right. Something else we did after we came back from the crash is we changed the size of the village. It was originally 110. We changed it, highlight village places. We changed it to, what was it, 55, I think, which made it snug around the buildings we've got here. When the game crashed, it reset the village size at 50, and it was cutting off these buildings and part of this building here. So we made it just a little bit larger. And what I noticed when I looked at this, when I looked at our perimeters of this village and that one, is that they were crossing each other quite severely, because I believe they were both set at 110, if not bigger on this one. So if I reset them both just to hug just what we need, we shouldn't have any overlap. Okay, with this village here, we've got some space here. We can do some animals, we can do some more buildings, we can do houses. There's a few things we can do here. But for now, we are just going to leave things as they are because it is functional, and people will eventually catch on to what they're supposed to be doing. Okay, my goal now at this point, let's take this off, highlight village places. Yeah, my goal at this point right now is to eliminate all of these braziers and put in these braziers. Let's go with that. This will give them light and heat, but they will not gather at these braziers. Oops. Knocked out that door. There you go. Okay, now it's a matter of finding all of those braziers that are hanging out outside and eliminate them. Like I said before, this will force the villagers to gather at the front and not out here. I also think we will be pulling some of these workstations down to a lower level. Again, we get caught in here for the reason of I want the people down here where we need them, not up there. Yep, where they're not really helping us. Okay, there are no braziers out here in the gardens, but I believe there might be some up here. Okay, nope. I don't think there's one up above. Nope. And I don't think there's one in here, even though we had a person kind of living in here. Was this the tower where he was living? Or was it... Yeah, this was the tower where we had the herbalist. We found the herbalist up here. Okay. I don't see a brazier. Wait, is that a door? That's a door. Okay. Enough of this tomfoolery. I think that's all of them. Okay. Now people will... You're going to work? Way out there, guarding that corner of our village. Good job. Okay. Now everybody should gather right here in the front. All right. I think, for the most part, we have solved a few issues. Is there a brazier in here? No, there is not. Let's go ahead and put that one in here for light and heat. Okay, you guys just came down the stairs. All right. And look at that. They're using that back door. Okay. Kind of makes me think of these little villagers like in the Sims game. They want to take the shortest route possible. And if it is too long, they just simply won't go. Okay, you must be going up. Yep, to the upper levels where they work. And I know there are more braziers on these upper levels, which we will be taking away because, again, I don't want them gathering up here. Another thing that we need to look at, if we take, okay, I know this is the way in and out. Claimed, yes. And yeah, 2 of those people were downstairs last night, hanging out at the back. If we take these workstations and put them lower, there will be no reason for anybody to hang around up here. But if the villagers are going to hang around up here, we need to build this up. Each one of these, just one layer, so they're not jumping. Because that's what they do. They jump off of these tall towers, and they end up getting hurt. And again, if we take that down, there will be no reason for them to come up, except maybe to do a shortcut. And I think if we see that kind of behavior happening, then we'll definitely go through here and either raise these, or we can do something that I've done once before, and that is to chisel just a small sliver so that they can't stand up here. Let's see. Yeah, this is going to require a little time, but then once I get it done, then I just copy it and paste it to each of the, let's see, they can still get up on that. I think it probably should come, let's see, yeah, I think it should come about there. Then they can't. There, they can't jump up there now. Okay. Let's take this out. And I'm in creative, so what I'll do is just hit my scroll button, make a copy of that, and put it on all of these spots so they can't jump down from here anymore. Okay. Of course, we'll have to do something a little more clever on this one. Let's see, that one's good. These ones here, we use our chisel and we just spin it around, and then I make a new copy of it and put it where it needs to go. Oh, golly. That one they could jump right off there. So this, I don't know if that's gonna work. Oh, nope, that's not gonna work. We're gonna have to get more clever with this corner over here. Which might mean nope, they could still do it from there. Okay, what if we do, nope, can't do that either. You take that away. Yeah, I think that's about all we can do there. Given more time, I would probably do something different. Okay, put you there and spin you around. This one here, definitely have to get a little more clever with that one, because they can still step right here, so this has to come further in this way. Can I spin that around and bring it? Nope, it goes further out. Yeah, that one's got to be re-chiseled, moved. Okay. I'm not going to do that up here because we are going to go ahead and grab that and eliminate it and bring that workstation down here. See where would be a good spot. We've got the few up there, the two at the bottom there. We've got, do we have one out here? I don't think we have one out here. Let's put one out here. Right there. Okay. And then that means that we can come up here, and this, I don't know if it's going to be necessary in this particular village, but we can now eliminate that and fix the hole in the roof, because the room below them, right here, because that ladder is there and that hole is there and they need that to get up to a workspace, this is open and then it gets cold in here. And then these poor little people, they freeze. So that problem is solved. I'm thinking it's possible that the few people that we see hanging about, they might not have jobs. So we need to look and see what our ratio to workstations to people is. Okay, I think this area, yeah, I'd still want to bring these lower. Monsters are not coming up here. Wild animals are not coming up here. So these people need to be down below where those things are showing up. So we will eventually, bring them all down. Anyway, I think that pretty much solves the issues in this particular village. Okay. I do want to find out who the people are that are hanging out here. Do they belong here? Find out if we need to make more workstations. And put these people to work. Hi there. Let's try this again. Okay, we didn't crash, so that's a bonus. Shepherd. Apparently we have a shepherd, but we don't have a workstation, and we don't have any place to put a shepherd. So we'll have to create that. We have 3 farmers and 4 workstations, so that's upside down, but that's not going to hurt us. If we had 4 villagers and only 3 workstations, then we would have to work that out. We have 10 soldiers, that's fine. Yeah, it looks to me like we only have a shepherd who doesn't have a workstation. And we have a lot of land, so if we decided to fence this in, we could put some animals out there, and then we'd have a shepherd who has a job. But I think we have pretty much fixed the issues that were keeping this village from functioning, keeping these people from... What are you doing? I have no idea. It's almost like you guys have nothing better to do. Dumud, Imogena, Marcus, Hermione, Brutus. Okay, this guy here is the herbalist, so I can see why he's just like hanging around. He's waiting for a fight to break out, so he has somebody to heal. Okay, I think for the most part... Oh, what time is it? 12:22. Where are you going? Is it like noontime gathering or what? Joanna. Oh, wow, you're getting a late start. They must have slept in. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I think we've solved the issues. Okay. Oh, let's take this away. Breaking it down, the main issues were in these little houses. They couldn't get up here. They couldn't use the stairs. Some of them were chiseled, and there was a lot of support beams that were interfering with the flow. Okay, so that's solved. We moved all of the braziers to force everybody to gather in here so that we can see everybody, and sounds like a storm coming. And the ones who need to go inside to sleep have less challenges locating the door. So, and I think the other thing we're going to do is bring all the soldiers' workstations down to this level. So, and then fixing the paths. So, I think that's the main things about this village. I'm sure if we spent more time here and really got a little more detailed about everything, we could find other things to fix as well. But as you know, we have some oh, 12 other villages just in this area to focus on. So when we come back, we might wander on to another village. I don't know if I'm ready to tackle this one yet. This one is still requiring a little bit of thought, just because it looks very complicated with the with these buildings smashed into the others. So I'm not sure what I want to do about this yet. I had an idea of just taking these buildings out, using creative and world gen, grabbing the space that these buildings are sitting on and moving it somewhere else, thus eliminating them from this village, and then rebuilding them, fixing them in their new location. But I have not really decided all of that yet. So for now, I think we're going to call this good. I might do a few more things over here, like finish the paperwork and put the documents on the walls. Oh, that's interesting. It's raining over there, but it's fine over here. Anyway, so yeah, we might focus on doing that, and then just kind of following everybody for a little bit longer, just to make sure that we haven't missed anything. So yeah, those are our documents. We need to fill those out. We need to fill out our book. So I think for now, I think we're going to call this good. We shall return.